Okay guys, we're going to look at our last lesson of Unit 3. We're going to model some situations with algebraic terms, including variables, coefficients, etc., all things that we've looked at so far. And then we're going to solve that model that we have created. So we see the term modeling in math. That's just saying create an equation that represents the scenario that we're given. So the first example we're going to look at states if the sum of three consecutive integers is 120, find those integers. Tell me what those three consecutive integers are that add to 120. Now, yes, we could sit here and say, well, 1 plus 2 plus 3, well, that equals 6, so that's not it. 2 plus 3 plus 4, that equals 9. That's not it either. We could sit here and do that. However, that might take a long time, especially if we're looking for three numbers that add to 120. So we are able to set up an equation involving algebra, involving variables, that's going to help us determine this. The first thing we want to do is identify what would our variables be. What are they? What do they represent? So let's think about that. If we're going to identify those unknowns, the three things we don't know are those three consecutive integers. Those three numbers, one after another, that add up to give me 120. So let's identify those. Let's name them. We're going to identify our unknowns. We'll say let A be the smallest integer. Let B be the middle integer. And let C be the largest integer. So I have three variables, A, B, and C. And remember the word sum. That means the total after values are added together. So then I need to solve A plus B plus C equals 120. How would we go about doing this? Think about it for a second. We've talked about in the past that we're unable to solve an equation like this yet because we have three unknowns. We have three variables. Is there a way that we could represent this equation as an equation involving the same variable for each term? I think there is. And it's because of this term here, this consecutive. Consecutive means one after the other. So if A is our smallest number, or our smallest integer that we're going to have, how could we represent the middle integer in terms of A? How could I do that? Well, if it's 1 after A, I could say that this is actually A plus 1. 1 more than A, our smallest integer. And similarly, by that same rationale or understanding, I could say that C could be represented as A plus 2. Because the largest number is 2 after the smallest number. Now let's replace B with A plus 1 and C with A plus 2 in our equation. Let's write A plus 1 plus A plus 2 equals 120. That looks a little bit better. I have one equation and I have one variable. The variable is A. Now I'm able to collect like terms and isolate for A. Let's solve for A. So when I do this, the brackets, because there's a 1 out front, the distributive property just removes the brackets. A plus 1 plus A plus 2 equals 120. A plus A, those are like terms, and I have three of them, so I can say 3A plus 3, 1 plus 2, equals 120. I bring 3 over the equal sign, and when I do that, it becomes a negative 3. So 120 minus 3. 3A equals 117. I'm going to move this over here to have a little bit more space. 3A divided by 3. and 117 divided by 3. Remember why I do that? I'm trying to isolate my variable a. It's 3 times a, and the opposite of multiplying by 3 is dividing by 3. That's why I've done that. But whatever I do to this side, remember I always say we need to do to the other side as well. So 3 cancels with 3, and I'm left with a equals 117 divided by 3, which is equal to 39. So a equals 39. Is that my final answer? Have I answered the question? Is the sum of the 3 consecutive integers 120? I only have one integer there. How do I find my last 2? Well, remember what we said. That b value, our middle integer, is actually a plus 1. So let's find b. b equals a plus 1. I know that a is 39, so I can say b equals 39 plus 1, and b equals 40. Perfect. And similarly, let's do that with c. c equals a plus 2. c equals 39 plus 2. c is equal to 41. 39, 40, 41. Those are 3 consecutive integers. Therefore, as long as these 3 numbers add to 120, I've got my answer. And by quick check, 39 plus 40 plus 41, they do. Therefore, the integers are 39, 40, and 41.